The other is the National Council of Canadian Tamils election. Yes, it is the third time we're all going to be voting, but it looks like the last one for some time to come. We voted for the referendum, then the transnational government, and now the NCCT. So, I'm sure you're all asking this question. What is NCCT all about? Who is running it? Or who is running in it? Why should we elect them? What are they going to be doing after? This is really necessary. Well, we'll find out all about that in our first segment of the show. And then we're going to talk to the creators and producers of the Top Talents Award, the Canadian Tamil Youth Alliance. They have their award ceremony happening sometime this coming weekend too. The good thing, however, is none of these three events seem to be conflicting with each other. So we can attend the Top Talent Awards and recognize our youth, and then on Sunday get out and do our part by voting for the candidates, or the right candidates who will be representing us in Canada, and then celebrate all of this with attending the A.R. Rahman concert at 7 p.m. on Sunday. So let's get to business. Sit back, relax, take note, call in, and do your part. This is Crossroads. So NCCT, National Council of Canadian Tamils. I keep calling it National Canadian Council of Tamils, but it's National Council of Canadian Tamils. The election is going to be happening on the 20th of June, and we're going to be talking to three people here in the studio. All three are volunteers and somehow involved with the Tamil Elections Canada group, and we also have the spokesperson for NCCT here with us, Anita Satkunaraja, volunteering with the group. Thanks for joining us today. And the official spokesperson for NCCT, Quintus Thuraisingham. Your first time on the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And then Anojini Kumaradasan, again a volunteer with the Tamil Elections Canada group. Welcome to the show to all of you. So, have you all bought tickets for JHO? I guess we'll talk about that later. You're all worried about how this election is going to turn out and what you need to be doing. Mm-hmm. So what exactly is happening? How's the momentum right now about this election?
So as of now, the election, the candidates have submitted their nominations and the campaigning period has started. There's several candidates on the tamilelections.ca website. All their candidates are listed, and so the campaigning, there have been a lot of people that have come forward to run and take part in this first inaugural National Council for Canadian Tamils, and there's 9 national executive directors that are going to be elected, and then at the national level, and then at the provincial level, there's going to be 13 directors elected, and then there's also elections happening at the regional levels as well.
Okay, so it's a pretty big council. Mm-hmm. How much in total?
51 members.
51 members.
51 members of the council?
Yeah, so that includes the national, provincial, and the regional. Because we've got 4 regions, and the total elected reps in the regions will be 21 members altogether. So that makes 51.
Okay, so let me get this right again. So you have 21 regional councillors, because it's a council.
Yeah,
it's at the national level. There will be 22.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then at the regional level,
there'll be 21.
There will be the national level 21?
22.
22, and then the regional level 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the
5
for the
organizational.
Provincial.
So there'll be 5 people elected through the Tamil organizations that are in Canada, and so that makes 51 altogether.
Sounds a lot like a lot of people, but just to give you a bit more, the 22, the national and provincial levels would make up the board. The 9 and the 13, that's 22, right? Yeah. That's 22. That makes up the board, and that's the committee that's going to function as a board. And the regional level is very grassroots and working very closely at the local levels with those different regions. So if it's Toronto East, they're working very closely with the constituents in Toronto East and working on local issues. And at the provincial level, again, working on nationwide provincial initiatives, and then national level again, working on the entire broad stream.
So this isn't a very simplified process for someone to understand right off the bat. I guess there's a little bit of reading that needs to be done, or a little bit of listening to radio or watching television to understand the entire process. So let's try and break this down a little bit.
Okay.
This National Council, it is still called the National Council, but it is going to represent region, province, and the country on its own, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have regional councillors that are going to be elected again, and then there are going to be provincial councillors elected, and then national councils elected.
Yeah.
But all of them form one body called the NCCT,
Yeah.
right? And you said the people in the National Council form the board.
The national and the provincial.
National and provincial form the board, so they're the exec members who are going to make decisions on how the council's going to function.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's not like Toronto City Council where each of them get to hammer away their way, and then Miller tries to work with everybody. So it's not like that.
No, it's very
together as one team.
Yeah.
But then their roles may differ a little bit here and there, but still there will be a lot of common ground there. They will all work together as well as work independently, depending on the nature of or the purpose of what they're going to be doing.
Right. So what is the real purpose of this council?
So let's put it this way. Primarily it is for the identity of the Tamils. Then the simple question comes is, what, in the past we didn't have identity? But we did. Our education or culture or structures, everything was rich. But then there was a different nature of name that was given by the opposing parties, like terrorism. And these are all terrorists, and all Tamils, whatever they did, however they tried, however strong they were, all of them were covered by this false propaganda machineries. Now, we have to move from there onwards. We can't stop there, because last May things happened that we didn't like, but we can't stop there. We have to move forward. And to move forward, with identity, we have to have representation. And with representation, we have to choose a path that the mainstream or these Western countries accept. That's where this falls in. Our representation should go through the democracy, transparency, and we should elect some members who can work on behalf of the diaspora. Yes, there is TGTE, Tamil, the transnational government, which is already formed. There are members at the higher level and international level, especially for the liberation of our struggle or liberation of our land, of our people. They will definitely work together. In the meantime, for the diaspora, to put them together, to work with them, to understand and guide them in a correct path, we need a democratic structure. That's where this NCCT falls.
So would it be wrong, or would I be wrong, or would I be correct if I said, we can compare TGT, transnational government, and NCCT this way. We have the federal government in Canada, and then we have municipal council in Canada, or the provincial government. Each of their mandates are different. The municipal government is responsible for local housing issues or roadways and fixing potholes and whatever. But the federal government is also responsible for the people that live in these ridings, but in a different level. They take care of the infrastructure of the country. They take care of financial matters in the country. They take care of bigger global issues for the country. So in that way, TGT would represent the global issues of the Tamil community around the world. NCCT would pertain to Tamil communities' local issues in Canada. Would that be?
So yeah, it's practically just like, we have to realize that we have to ground ourselves strongly in Canadian soil before we can take a step forward. And that has to be done through a democratic process. And we need, just take example, like last May, when we put out our voices out there, and there were legitimate requests, but it was just ignored. Why? It's because we didn't have a structure or a body to represent our entire community's voice. So NCCT will be the base for entire Tamils in Canada for their voices to be heard at a more national level. So we have to gain political and economical and social strength. From that, we have to help our people in our homeland and also find solutions to problems that we as Tamils are facing in Canada. So practically, NCCT will deal with both of those issues.